Right, good evening everyone. Um, this is the video number 2 from a series of videos I will be doing on my channel, which has been renamed Rogers Place. And everyone is welcome to Rogers Place. So I would like to introduce you to Michael Livesley, who is actually my YouTube mentor. Because obviously it's something I need to learn the ins and outs of how to do videos properly and edit them accordingly to what we want to do. So I know Michael has already his channel, so I can ask him what his channel is about and what his passion is with regards to that, because obviously when we do videos on our channel is about things we like in life that we want to share with the world or as many people as we can.
Yeah,
okay,
cool.
So Michael, okay, so you've been helping me for the last few weeks with the YouTube, which is great, and I'm really grateful for that because I was really struggling with it. I'm still struggling a bit with it because there is a lot to learn still, but it's going all right. So can you tell us what your channel is about, what your channel title is, and we probably put the name on it when we edit the video, but what's your channel title and why is it about?
Well, the main channel title would be Urban Northerners.
Urban Northerners, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, and can you tell us what your channel is about?
The main structure of the channel, which is associated with Urban Acres Facebook page, is all of urban exploring, which is travelling to different places that are derelict or abandoned, not just in this country but mainly in Europe and eventually across the world.
So when you go across those buildings that you're finding here in the UK and abroad, what attracts you to those buildings? What's the mystery behind all this? What is it you want to find?
I think it's a two-pronged approach for me. I'm intrigued to see the history of a place, and if I've particularly got back knowledge of it, how does it compare now to how it was when it was in a working condition?
Mm-hmm. And does that tell you the place that's now abandoned? And obviously there is a story behind every place or every building you go and visit. What have you discovered so far in some of the buildings? Can you give us perhaps an example where you something intrigued you, you found out what it was about, or have those buildings been abandoned for so long that it's being forgotten altogether?
Well, yeah, a close place to me was Formby Hall. It was a community centre within our town. Obviously I knew a big background, so it was just nice for memorial sakes to go in it one last time.
Oh yes.
Before it was demolished.
Mm-hmm.
To answer your question more thoroughly, I would state old abandoned houses, particularly farms, are most popular for this, and where if there's access into the main buildings, you always find things that have been left behind. So
yeah.
To say like you get, and it's more of an energy and a feel you get.
Mm-hmm.
But where instead of more the history of the place, it's what would it have been like when people lived in it. A kind of feeling like that, because it's one thing to walk into a factory,
yes,
or even a school and go, I wonder what the back history is and what was it like when it was open towards now. You'll tell the difference. But to walk into what was someone's home, maybe their family's been brought up there, and so on, you get that feeling of the happiness that's gone in that place, the energy and how cold it's gone now. And you get more of an insight at places like that, because people do leave memories behind. The photographs are on, they could be old cards, old letters. and you get to find a bit more of an insight into how them people lived, the kind of lives they led, and it can even touch you sometimes if you find out anything that's gone on in a place like that. Which also sidetracks into the secondary part of my channel, which is more of a paranormal side.
Oh, paranormal side. So have you got two different channels?
Oh no, it's the same channel but with two different forms of playlists. So sometimes they merge because there's a lot of buildings you go in that do have, not saying it may be ghosts, it could just be things that could do old buildings, things go wrong, but have a lot of strange occurrences go on.
So you mentioned ghosts, did you?
Yeah.
And do you actually think that when there is a building, it's obviously empty, but is it really empty? Is it kind of a spirit in there or something that's kind of leftover, if I can put it that way, after a building is abandoned? So there is some something people can feel, some kind of energy.
Yeah, not everywhere you go. A lot of them, that's not the case. It's just an empty shell now. But there are some places you go where either your own mind can play a trick on you, especially if you find like stuff in an old house which can come across as creepy. You're going to be put on alert then. Yeah. So your mind is overthink.
That's interesting.
But a lot of places you do find that you're not on your own, on the go with other people, but you're certainly just there together. And strange occurrences go on. I've got evidence from previous videos yet to go on the channel that provide a bit of an insight into that paranormal side, where there are voices there when there's only me there, and it's definitely not me.
Right, yes.
One of them was it was one of the old Mount Everest climbers. He owns he did own, he's dead now, manor house in the village of Morbally near the airport.
Yeah. And
I've picked up a bit of voice activity in that immediate surrounding of his property.
Right, so that's very interesting, because I've not watched the programs though, but I've seen some clips of some programs about haunted houses and things like that, or stories whereby, for example, a murder, I don't like murders, but where a murder happened in a pub, for example, and that very place where they happened, the place is in that specific area of that pub is very, very cold, and then so people can feel it. And actually, where something happened as well on the road where a car was driving, and maybe because they were thinking about that person or something, and then suddenly the car stops. Maybe somebody else who had no connection with that person will have just drove past without knowing. So it's interesting how we can be related to things that for no apparent how can I put it, that don't exist anymore, but in fact there is still something there, whatever that might be.
Like a residual energy.
Yeah, and then some people believe it's energy. Yeah, that's been left there, and it's quite.
Well, it's varying types. I mean, I can always get into that in another video, but particularly and this is the third part of my channel. I mean, I'm jumping a little bit here.
It is okay, yeah.
Well, it's all about interesting locations. It's nothing to do with the first part, which is exploring abandoned buildings, or to do with paranormal, even though it can interfere with them. It's all about different parts of the UK that are maybe, in a way we could call secret, places where the mass majority of the population doesn't know exist. I like finding these little places and doing a bit of backstory on them, because it's very intriguing to pick up there might be even be little places around here which are little known to the locals, but are interesting pieces of history. I like the historical side, stuff like that. And particularly in the village down south, it was built on an old Roman road. So there's been reports, personally not seen anything myself, but you never know one day, where you can see pretty much the top half of a body of an old Roman legion. So you're just walking. He can't interfere with you because he doesn't know you're there.
No.
Just like you probably weren't meant to see him. He's just an effect from a past time that keeps coming round every now and again. And
so
it's like a residual energy where it's implanted into the earth. So at that point every year, it won't happen any other time.
No.
But at that moment, he'll walk past to wherever he's going.
Yeah. Yeah, personally, I mean, I've got slightly different belief than most people in the West, I would say. But, well, I might not be wrong or right, but personally, I don't really believe there is like when we die, that there is just a brutal end. Well, there might be in brutal end, as it were, like, obviously, we just go. Obviously, the more peaceful I go, the better I will feel. My granddad passed away that way. He went to bed and didn't wake up, so he went out peacefully and all that. But half of this planet believes in reincarnation, the other half doesn't. Yes, we are one life in the body we have. Okay, whether we like our body or not, the stuff we have to accept it. Yeah, it might be harsh, but we have to accept it. But I believe there is something out there afterwards. We just talk about the energy that's left in some places. There is, personally I believe that when we die, the essence of our life is still there and will manifest itself when the circumstances are appropriate. But that's my belief only. I mean, I don't impose it on anybody else, but it's interesting to see that the half of the planet believes in reincarnation and the other half doesn't. So who's right, who's wrong? But for me, there is something out there, because as we just said 2 minutes ago about this energy that we can find in some places, because something good or bad happened in that place, and the energy of that event is still there, even decades afterwards, which is quite interesting, troubling, whatever, however we want to describe it. So I think that's a good topic. I'm sure it's a topic that we could. I think the battery would. If we can't talk about this kind of topic, the battery will be gone by then we'll be.
It was in the location I go to.
Yeah. So that's no, but that's interesting. But that's a very interesting topic. But there will be other topic I will be covering as we go along, because I am still building this channel to the best of my ability. I want it to be a successful channel, as successful as it can possibly be, because I've got plans. But I'll mention the plans later on, one step at a time. But you mentioned there is something we could talk about in another video. What was that? Perhaps we can do that next time.
Yeah, it was just explaining more in depth to the different sides of my channels instead of just the main one.
Absolutely, no, I'm happy with that. Absolutely.
I'll go into far more detail and experiences I've had.
Yeah.
The pros and cons of each, you could say, list of what I do.
Yeah.
Because I like to merge some of them together. There's a population that might not be too interested in, say, urban exploration, but they love paranormal, and you can blend them together.
Yeah.
Because unless you're willing sometimes to pay for a lot of locations, you won't get there.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time it's just fluky luck. But at the same time, as an ender, my new outlook on is the third section of my channels is this historic England, in the way Secret Britain, as I like to call it.
Oh yeah.
But it is, and it will expand to other nations in time because we've got some contacts in them.
Oh, that would be interesting. Which countries are you looking at?
It'll be Norway and Sweden at the moment.
Oh yeah, because I know you're interested in Norway. You're trying to learn the language.
Yes, and obviously I've got friends in Sweden.
Oh, that's fantastic. So you could be going there and then do
a similar thing.
A similar thing over there. That would be interesting.
Yeah, well, because even though it'd be a little bit more intriguing over there, it's very much the same. If I briefly put it in, say like Route 66 in America. Mm-hmm. Most people, it's just another road trip to them.
Oh yeah, it was on the show Route 66 before. It was on the show, yeah, about Route 66, yes.
It is, and as good as it is, I would take a different approach to it. I wouldn't just be visiting the major attractions that most people do, because people have seen that.
Well,
That's nothing new. I would like to find little hidden attractions that are still intriguing and interesting, but what people would probably drive past and wouldn't even know were there.
yeah,
Unlike most of mainland Britain, America tends to have a lot of abandoned towns and hidden history that people won't even know because the distances are that vast.
mm-hmm.
As a side note, where the Silent Hill film was based, if I'm right, forgot the name of it now, but there's a little town there that is exactly mimics that film, or to a point anyway, and it'd be intriguing to find other aspects similar to that where most people just drive on by, they don't even see the sign, they don't acknowledge it, but a mile down the road could be an ancient theme park, or you could say an old natural ruin or something like that, where people don't realise it's there, but if they did, it'll get a lot more attraction, media attraction at that. So
Right, that's fantastic. But okay, yeah, because there are so many, as you're talking and things like that. Personally, one of the other topics I am personally interested in is culture, difference in cultures between countries. So I will be developing topics on that as time goes. Yeah, and that when you mention about Route 66 and people stop at the main attractions and you're looking at the hidden ones, it's a bit like, for example, when you visit a big city like Paris or London, and often you'll discover that in Paris there will be some beautiful restaurant on the back street that most people won't know, and then it probably be cheaper and just as good, if not better.
yeah, very much
Yeah,
so.
and they have a lot of things like that, and I am also inclined to do things like that, discovering things that people don't necessarily go for or find for themselves. So that will be an interesting part of culture, but that's another topic that I will develop in time.
Oh yeah, we can talk with that as it comes on. Is as a sides version of what I currently am looking at, a friend is pretty much doing that himself. He'll start off from usually his home location, and he'll just walk non-stop. He'll just walk and walk and walk for hours until he gets to a location he likes. And along the way he takes in all the sights, because he doesn't walk along the main road.
No, it doesn't.
You find all the little back streets
in the back street,
and you find absolute perfection and little gems there that you wouldn't see. Even in a town next door to mine, most people would never notice there. I've known him for over a decade now, but there's a lovely little chippy, and it really is like stepping back 30 years in time. You walk in, the prices are an absolute bargain. They're half the price of anywhere else in the town.
Yeah.
Lovely, friendly man. You can just sit there all day yabbing to him.
Is he still working there? Still open, that chippy?
Oh yeah, it's still open. And
which town is that?
it's in Lee.
Oh, in Lee, yeah. So you wouldn't know he's there, basically, if you don't go in the back.
Oh yeah, if you weren't really a local, or you just didn't by sheer luck really go down a back street, it's a one way as well.
Oh, it's on top,
you really wouldn't know it were there. And
no, you wouldn't know it's there.
so he really survives off either old trade from people who've lived and moved on, or just his local.
Yeah.
But it proves that if you're willing to just take a little detour now and again, but sometimes you'll come across a right gem. And
it's true that I agree, and obviously he's giving value to his customers because he's still there, he's still working, and obviously people must like him because on top of that it's a one-way street, so it's even more difficult for trade because it's one. And can you park outside this chippy, or is it?
You can park on either the main street he's on, as long as people haven't parked up already, or you can. It's just down the other side street from next to it.
Yeah. So you got to know the area really. Yeah, to be able to. Okay, I mean we could probably carry on talking for another 20-25 minutes. So let's remind ourselves, this is the video number 2 of the channel. I mean, properly. There are a few videos in the past, but that's the past, and the past is gone. So video number 2, and then we carry on building up this channel to the best of our ability, and when I am able to fly the nest, as it were, in terms of managing my own channel, and do the best to the best possible. And then obviously, and then we'll find different topics. Some of it is going to be around culture and how we overcome barriers between cultures and things like that I'm interested in, and how we can connect with people in the best possible way. But something I've got to learn, it's time to go now. I wish everybody a good night. Well, depending on what time the video is going to go on. But everybody have a great weekend and see you soon.